ஆழ்வார் எம்பெருமானார் ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம், ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம். Sunday after every Punarpusam, we have our satsangam for the Sishyas of Sri Vanamamalai Matham mainly. It's not restricted to them alone, but we started this session specifically for the Sishyas of Sri Vanamamalai Matham to discuss about Satvishayams, share our Anubhavams and so on. In today's session, we are going to discuss about Artha Panchakam. There was actually a question some time ago from one of the group members. The question was specifically related to Artha Panchakam. Artha Panchakam covers 5 different aspects. We will see a little bit about the 5 principles. The question was, which one amongst the 5 principles is most important? That is the main question. So we will try to discuss that particular aspect today. We will have the session for about 30 minutes and then we will have question answers and discussions for a little while. Before we go into which one is most important, let's first get some basic idea about Artha Panchakam, little bit introduction for the particular topic, and then we can see we can address the particular question which we will spend some time on. In Mumukshupadi, Pilalokacharya explains Tirumantram, Dvaya Mahamantram and Charma Shlokam. In the Tirumantra Prakaranam, in the beginning itself, Pilalokacharya explains that Tirumantram has all the essential principles which are to be known. And he goes on to say that the essential principles to be known are collectively identified as Artha Panchakam. So this Artha Panchakam is what is to be known from Tirumantram and of course from Dvaya Mahamantram and Charma Shlokam, because Tirumantram, Dvaya Mahamantram and Charma Shlokam are all interconnected. So from the Rahasya Trayam, the principles which we are supposed to know are collectively known as Artha Panchakam. What are these Artha Panchakam? What are these 5 principles? There is a very famous shlokam. There is actually a couple of shlokams in Harita Samhita which explain this Artha Panchakam. Prapyasya brahmano rupam praptuscha pratyakatmanaha praptyupayam palam praptes tata praptir virodhicha vadanti sakala veda setihasa puranakaha munayascha mahatmano veda vedartha vedinaha. These 2 shlokams, they explain Artha Panchakam very nicely. The simple meaning of these 2 shlokams in English, let us see that first. Vedam and Vedantam, Itihasam, Puranam, all of these, the body of Shastram, collectively establish the 5 essential principles. What are those 5 essential principles? There is Brahmam, Parabrahmam, Paramatma, Bhagavan, Sriman Narayana. So that is the first principle. And then there is Jivatma, the individual soul. There is upayam, that is means, the process. There is palam, the goal. And then there is virodhi, hurdles. So these 5 principles are established by Shastram. And the shlokams, they go on to say that these principles are emphasized by great saints and sages who are well versed in the principles of Vedam. So those saints and sages, they have deep understanding of Shastram. They also emphasize these 5 principles which are to be known. The same concept is explained by Parashara Bhattar in the Taniyan to Thiruvaimozhi. It's very well known, we all are quite familiar with this Taniyan. மிக்க இறைநிலையும் மெய்யாம் உயிர்நிலையும் தக்க நெறியும் தடையாகி தொக்கியலும் ஊழ்வினையும் வாழ்வினையும் ஓதும் குறுகையர்கோன் யாழிசை வேதத்தியல். So this Thiruvaimozhi, which is very sweet, very melodious, like the sound or music coming from yar, that's a string instrument. The such Thiruvaimozhi, which is composed by Nammalvar, it talks about the 5 principles. Mikka Irai, that is Brahmam, Parabrahmam, the great Supreme Lord. Meyyam Uyirnilai, the true self, Atma. Takkaneri, the apt process, the means. Tadayagi Tokkiyelum Ulvinai, the Virodhi, which is a hurdle which stops us from attaining the particular goal. And finally, Valvinai, the goal which is to be attained. So these 5 principles are present in Thiruvaimozhi. So that is another well-known Taniyan or Pasuram which is recited in the beginning of Thiruvaimozhi recital. Parashara Bhattar has very beautifully and simply explained the Artha Panchakam in these Pasurams, in this particular Pasuram. So from this particular Pasuram and the Harita Samhita Shlokams, we can understand that there are 5 essential principles. These are emphasized, these 5 essential principles are emphasized in Vedam, Vedantam, Itihasams, Puranams and all of the body of Shastram, including Divya Prabandham, including all the Purvacharya Granthams, including Rahasya Trayam. So all of the Adhyatma Vidya, that is, all of the Shastram which is focused on the Atma, which is focused on the deliverance of the Atma, they are all focusing on this Artha Panchakam. So this Artha Panchakam is very, very essential for us to understand. It must be learnt, it must be understood, and it must also be aptly used. How do we use it? For example, we have to know what is the Jivatma Swarupam, and then we, all of us are Jivatmas, so we have to act according to the Swarupam. Activities matching the Swarupam must only be performed. We know about Paramatma Swarupam, Bhagavat Swarupam, and then we relish the nature of Bhagavan and we praise Bhagavan matching his Swarupam. There is Upayam, the particular means, the particular process. We have to identify, we have to understand what is the apt process for the matching the nature of the Jivatma. And then there is Purushartham, the goal, the phala. We have to understand what is the true goal matching the Jivatma Swarupam. And then finally, we have to know what are the hurdles. What is that which stops us from attaining the goal right now? and knowing those Virodhi, we have to avoid such hurdles, avoid such obstacles. So there is knowledge aspect and there is implementation, there is the practical aspect of using the Arthapanchaka Jnanam in our daily life. So this is very important, very essential for Sri Vaishnavas, for all of us, and we'll go through a little bit about each of the principle in this Arthapanchakam. Let us go through each of them and then we will finally go to the question which was specifically asked in the particular context here. So let us see the Jivatma first. Though Paramatma is explained in the beginning in the Shlokam as well as in Parashara Bhattar's Taniyan, usually we start with the Jivatma because we have to know who we are first. Then we can understand about Bhagavan and we can understand about the Upayam, we can understand about the goal and we can understand about the hurdles. First, we can understand what is the nature of Atma, what are the various categories of Atma and so on. So Jivatma is sentient being, one who has consciousness, one who has knowledge, one who is different from the body. It is very fundamental for Sanatana Dharma that there is a difference between body and soul. Atma is different from Deham. That understanding must be very, very clear. Bhagavan, Krishna also starts his Gitopadesham with Natvevaham Jatunasham Natvam Neme Janadipaha, where he says that all these kings, you, me, we are all eternal. When the body gets destroyed, the Atma does not get destroyed. So he goes on in the second chapter, in the beginning, there is a lot of shlokams where he explains Dehino Asmin Yatha Dehe Kaumaram Yapanam Jara. So just like the Atma is going through various stages in this life, there is childhood, there is adulthood, there is old age and so on. Similarly, the Atma will move on to another body when this particular body becomes unusable. So there is difference between Atma and everything else. Atma is different from body, Atma is different from the mind, Atma is different from the senses, Atma is different from the prana, vital air. So Atma is different from all of that. So that particular understanding is very, very fundamental. And these Atmas, there are innumerable Atmas. There is not just one Atma. There are innumerable Atmas. And these Atmas are classified into 5 categories. In this, Pillai Lokacharya has given a beautiful Arthapanchakam Grantham, which is very, very crisp and which is very, very educational for all of us. In this particular Grantham, he has categorized each of the principle into 5 different subcategories, and he has explained in detail each of them. So we will see the categorization of each of the principles in Arthapanchakam, and we will try to understand the different aspects here. So first, starting with Jivatma, we have seen that Jivatma is different from body and Jivatma is conscious, having knowledge. There are 5 categories identified in the Jivatmas. First one is Nityasuris, those who are eternally free in Paramapadam. They are always with Bhagavan, serving him. Second, Muktatmas, the liberated ones. Mukta means one who became free. He was previously bound in the samsara, in the material world. Eventually he was freed and he became a Muktatma. Now he is in Sri Vaikuntham and he is enjoying Bhagavan eternally. There is third category is Baddhatmas. Baddhatmas are the souls who are bound in this samsara, in this material world. Baddhatmas usually are classified again into three categories. So we have seen Nityasuris, Muktatmas, Baddhatmas. These Baddhatmas are further classified into three categories. There are those who are fully engrossed in material enjoyment, worldly life only. Those are the first categories who are strictly called Baddhatmas. And then there is Kevalas, Kaivalya Nishtha, those who are desiring for Kaivalya Moksham and those who have entered Kaivalya Moksham as well. Kaivalya Moksham is enjoying the self without any other exposure, total enjoyment of the Atma only. That is also considered as a end state. That is, once one reaches this Kaivalya Moksham, he cannot come back from that state as well. So there is Kevalas and then there is Mumukshus. Mumukshus are those who are in this world and those who are desiring to be liberated, those who are desiring to be attaining Bhagavad Kainkaryam and serving Bhagavan. Here Kaivalya Nishtas are part of Baddhatmas, but those who have attained Kaivalyam, they are Muktatmas. They have also been liberated. So the Kaivalya Nishtha means they are in this world, they are pursuing Kaivalya Moksham. Those who have attained Kaivalyam, that Moksham of self-enjoyment, they are part of Muktatmas. So totally Jivatma is categorized into 5 subcategories. Next is Paramatma, Bhagavan. Bhagavan is Sarva Rakshaka, Sarva Karana, Sarveshwara. He is the Lord of all, He is the cause of all, He is the protector of all, He is auspicious, He is the abode of all auspicious qualities, He is the opposite of all inauspicious qualities. He has so many wonderful names, forms and so on. So Bhagavat Tattvam is the second Tattvam here we need to understand. Bhagavan is also having 5 different states or forms. He is in Paramapadam, in Paratvam, his supreme form in Sri Vaikuntham. And then there is Vyuham. Vyuham means generally it points to Kshirabdi, where Bhagavan is present in the milk ocean. He has descended from Sri Vaikuntham to Kshirabdi so that he can listen to the complaints, he can hear the complaints of Devas and provide solution for the protection of all the Atmas in this world. From Kshirabdi only he takes all his incarnations. So Kshirabdi is the milky ocean Vyuham state. There is also Chaturvyuham generally explained. That is Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Sankarshana. These different forms are also explained and there are further divisions of those forms of Bhagavan which are also explained in Shastram. That is the second state. And then there is Vibhavam. Vibhavam means many incarnations such as Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Rama, Krishna and so on. Bhagavan's avatarams, incarnations. Avatarams are generally categorized into Mukhyavataram and Gaunavataram. Mukhyavataram means Bhagavan descending as he is without any change. He is appearing with his full natural original form, spiritual divine form and with all potency. That is Mukhyavatara. That is like Nrsimhavatara, Sri Ramavatara, Varahavatara, Krishnavatara. These are all Mukhyavataras. There is also Gaunavatara where he appears with his he puts his potency, his strength or his Swarupam on another Jivatma. Gaunavataram can be further subcategorized into Shakti Aveshavatara or Swarupa Aveshavatara. Shakti Aveshavatara means he gives his Shakti, his potency to Jivatmas. Swarupa Avesha means he is giving his Swarupam, his full potency to some individuals. Both of these categories of Gaunavatara, that is Shakti Avesha and Swarupa Avesha, they are done for specific purposes. For example, Vyasa is considered as Shakti Avesha Avatara. Parashurama is considered sometimes as Shakti Avesha, sometimes as Swarupa Avesha. Balarama Avatara is also considered as sometimes as Shakti Avesha, sometimes as Swarupa Avesha. So these are different types of incarnations. Fourth category of Bhagavan's form or state is Antaryamitvam, Bhagavan being the Antaryami of all entities, Jivatmas, and being the Antaryami, he controls every entity. And then finally the fifth form is the Archavatara form, Bhagavan being present in temples, mutts, at homes and so on in the form of a statue or a deity based on the desires of his devotees. Many times rishis, sages pray for Bhagavan's presence in a particular form. Many times kings have prayed for such presence in temples, and Bhagavan manifests in all of those forms based on the desires of his devotees. So that is Paramatma Tattvam. Third Tattvam, third aspect in Artha Panchakam is Purushartham, the goal which is to be attained. It is generally explained as Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha in Shastram. Here, Moksham is classified again into two. One is Atmanubhava Moksham, that is Kaivalya Moksham, and then Bhagavad Kaikarya Moksham, serving eternally Bhagavan in Sri Vaikuntham. So Moksham is classified into two. So totally 5 aspects. So Dharma is activities that are performed for the protection or well-being of all the Jivatmas, all the beings. Artha is earning of wealth according to Shastram, as allowed in Shastram, that is Artha. Kama is engaging in pleasure with the help of the Artha which is accumulated based on Dharma, and using the Artha in enjoyments which are allowed in Shastram, that is called Kama. Atmanubhavam is Kaivalya Anubhavam. We have already seen that enjoying the self without any bodily attachment, being freed from samsara but not entering the inner area of Sri Vaikuntham. Kaivalyam is generally highlighted, explained as the outer region of Paramapadam, where the Atmas will remain and eternally enjoy Atma. Atma will enjoy itself here, there. So that is Atmanubhavam. And then there is Bhagavad Kaikaryam, doing eternal service to Bhagavan. This is the apt goal for the Jivatma. This is the ultimate goal for the Jivatma. So that is explained in Purushartham. Upayam, let's see the Upayam. Generally, Karma Yogam, Jnana Yogam, Bhakti Yogam, Prapatti and Acharya Abhimanam are 5 main categories. There are so many Upayams highlighted in Shastram. Karma Yogam, Jnana Yogam, Bhakti Yogam are the foremost. There is also Nama Sankirtanam, doing Kaikaryams in temples, living in a Divyadesham. These are all also highlighted as separate Upayams in Shastram. But Karma Yogam, Jnana Yogam, Bhakti Yogam are most common. After Karma Yogam, Jnana Yogam, Bhakti Yogam, there is Prapatti, that is Sharanagati, and finally there is Acharya Abhimanam. Let us see a little bit detail about these 5 aspects. So Karma Yogam is engaging, so Karma Yogam, Jnana Yogam, Bhakti Yogam, these are all of these can be performed only by Traivarnikas, males. That is, Traivarnikas means Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, males. Those who have Yajnopavidam, those who can do Veda Adhyayanam, only they can engage in Karma Yogam, Jnana Yogam and Bhakti Yogam. Bhakti is different from Bhakti Yogam, Karma is different from Karma Yogam, Jnana is different from Jnana Yogam. People generally confuse these two. Many people say that we are doing Bhakti Yogam, but they may actually be just doing Bhakti. Because Bhakti Yogam, as per Shastram, it can only be performed by Traivarnikas. Similarly, Karma Yogam and Jnana Yogam. So Karma Yogam is having Ashtanga Yoga practice and doing yajnam, dhanam, tapas, dhyanam and so on. All of these have to be done with the sacrifice, 3 sacrifices, that is giving up kartrutvam, giving up mamata and giving up the phalam. Kartrutva tyagam, mamata tyagam, phala tyagam are important even for karma yogam. Kartrutva tyagam is the doership, mamata tyagam is the ownership, phala tyagam is the result, giving up the result. So all these 3 must be given up while being engaged in karma yogam. Jnana yogam is the next level, engaging the mind. After practicing karma yoga, one will come to the platform of jnana yoga and engaging the mind in Bhagavan, doing a lot of meditation and experiencing Bhagavan, visualizing Bhagavan and so on. Bhakti yogam is the next level. Bhakti is generally explained as jnana visheshaha, bhaktischa jnana visheshaha. That is, it is an advanced state of jnanam where there is deep love between the Jivatma and Paramatma. There is a constant connection between Jivatma and Paramatma and engaging in loving devotional activities towards Bhagavan. This is Bhakti Yogam. Prapatti is Sharanagati, total surrender towards Bhagavan. Sharanagati is a mental activity more than the physical falling down or saying, I surrender unto you. More than all of that, the mind level surrender is most important. Sharanagati is also, this prapatti is also classified further into 2, Artha Prapatti, Drupta Prapatti. Artha Prapatti is where the person who is surrendering, he cannot bear even one more moment of presence in this world. He wants to be freed immediately from this material world and reach Vaikuntham. Drupta Prapatti means one who can remain in this world, follow the principles of acharyas, sages and rishis and so on, and at the end of this body they are willing to accept reaching Paramapadam. Their state, mental state is that I can be here for some more time, but I will follow the principles of Shastram and I can reach Vaikuntham at the end of my current life. Acharya Abhimanam is the 5th step. Acharya Abhimanam is similar to surrender, but the surrender is done through an Acharya instead of doing that directly to Bhagavan. Prapatti is generally direct surrender to Bhagavan. Acharya Abhimanam is doing that surrender at the under the guidance of an Acharya and totally depending on Acharya's mercy for the result to happen, result to occur. So this is considered as the Panchamopayam or the 5th Upayam, the greatest Upayam. In one sense, it is explained that Acharya Abhimanam means holding on to Bhagavan's lotus feet. Surrender means holding on to Bhagavan's hands. If we need some help from someone, if we just hold on to their hands and request, they may be able to ignore us, discard us and move on. But if we hold on to their feet, they will have no choice than fulfilling our desire. Similarly, if we go through an Acharya, if the Acharya shows us mercy and if the Acharya feels that this is my Sishya and if Acharya goes and requests Bhagavan to accept that Sishya, certainly Bhagavan will have no other choice than accepting. So this is Acharya Abhimanam. So these are the 5 different aspects. Our Sampradayam is focused on Acharya Abhimanam. Though we are called as Prapannas at some times, mostly our Acharyas have highlighted that we are really depending on the mercy of the Acharya, especially Bhagavad Ramanuja has established 74 Simhasanadipatis and he has established the tradition of Acharyas giving knowledge and delivering the Sishyas with their own Jnanam and Anushtanam. Manavada Mamnigal also says in Upadesha Ratnamala, Jnanam Anushtanamavai Nantragave Udayanana Guruve Adenda Kal Manilathil Tenar Kamala Tirumamagal Kullan Tane Vaigundam Tarum. When one surrenders to an Acharya who is well situated in Jnanam and Anushtanam, the Bhagavan will have no other choice than granting Sri Vaikuntham for that Shishya. So that is our main focus. Finally, Virodhi, the hurdles. There are 5 different hurdles which are highlighted. Virodhi is anything which stops us from moving forward in the pursuit of Bhagavan. So there is Swarupa Virodhi, that is mistaking the body to be soul, the Atma, considering oneself to be a servitor of somebody else than Bhagavan, and so on. Then there is Paratva Virodhi, having misunderstandings towards Bhagavan. Bhagavan is Param, Paratva. He is got the supremacy. If we mistake someone else, some other devatas to be supreme, if we consider Bhagavan's incarnations to be just human, if we consider Bhagavan's Archa Vigraham based on, if we grade Bhagavan's greatness based on the material on which his Archa Vigraham is made. If it is gold, it is greater. If it is bronze, it is not so good. If we grade that, then that is very, very big obstacle for us. So these are all considered as Paratva Virodhi. There is Purushartha Virodhi, that is having desires for any goal other than doing eternal service to Bhagavan. That is Purushartha Virodhi. Upaya Virodhi, having attachment towards other upayams, Karma Yogam, Jnana Yogam, Bhakti Yogam, Nama Sankirtanam, Dividesha Vasam. We should not consider any of these as upayams. We can engage in all of these as Kainkaryam, but if we consider any of these as upayam, then that will become a hurdle by itself. Then finally there is Prapti Virodhi. Prapti Virodhi are the final obstacles which may stop us from reaching Bhagavan immediately. For example, we have the connection with this body which is stopping us from reaching Bhagavan. If we commit some apacharams which are very heinous, which are very great, huge apacharams, then they will come as obstacles for our deliverance. So these are considered as the 5 different categorization of the Virodhis. So we have seen a brief of all the principles, Artha Panchakam. So Pillai Lokacharya explains in this Artha Panchakam Grantham, in the end, that one should understand these Artha Panchakam fully, one should follow it, and one should crave for attaining Bhagavan as soon as possible. One should depend on Acharya fully. One should be fully depending on the Sri Vaishnava Acharya who is with Sattvagunam, who is with Shanti, who is with devotion, who is with all the self-control and all of that. So if anyone remains in this particular situation, Pillai Lokacharya says he will be dearer to Bhagavan even more than his own Piratis, his own close confident servitors like Nitya Suris. So Pillai Lokacharya says those who are fixated, well situated in this Artha Panchakam, both in knowledge and implementation, they'll be very, very dear to Bhagavan. So that is a brief about Artha Panchakam. Coming to the actual question, which I don't want to miss, the main principle in the Artha Panchakam is the Prapyam, that is attaining the goal. Upayam is the main principle among the 5 principles. The reason for that is explained by Azhagiyamanaval Perumal Nayanar in the Acharya Hridayam. He explains that there is all these 5 principles are there, but all of them are centered upon the goal of doing eternal Kainkaryam. So when we say we have to do Kainkaryam, then the question arises, who is doing Kainkaryam? Then we will say Jivatma is doing Kainkaryam. Then the second question would be, who is the target of this Kainkaryam? Then that will be Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the target of this Kainkaryam. So Jivatma Swarupam is explained, Paramatma Swarupam is explained. Then there will be the question, how will we attain this Kainkaryam? Then we will explain Upaya Swarupam. And finally the question will be, what is stopping you from doing this Kainkaryam? Then that is going to explain Virodhi Swarupam. So if we look at the Kainkaryam, that is Bhagavad Kainkaryam, as the ultimate goal and as the ultimate principle, all the other aspects will automatically, naturally fall in place. Manavada Mamnigal explains the principles. This is Churnikai 211 in Acharya Hridayam, if anyone wants reference. It's a big commentary by Manavada Mamnigal, very elaborate, very beautiful one, where he explains this in great detail and finally concludes that Upayam, Bhagavad Kainkaryam is the ultimate aspect in the Artha Panchakam, which naturally, which automatically will explain all other aspects in a holistic way. So that is the original question. We had to go and understand these other aspects. So with this, Adiyan will stop here. If there are any questions, further questions, we can discuss today. Alvar Emberumanar, G.R. Tiruvadigalai Sharanam, G.R. Tiruvadigalai Sharanam.
To learn such valuable information about our Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, please download KOYIL, KOYIL app from Google Play Store or Apple App Store. Our website is koyil.org, KOYIL.org.